Occupational English Test, Practice Test, Listening Test. This test has 3 parts. In each part, you'll hear a number of different extracts. At the start of each extract, you'll hear this sound. You'll have time to read the questions before you hear each extract, and you'll hear each extract once only. Complete your answers as you listen. At the end of the test, you'll have 2 minutes to check your answers. Part A. In this part of the test, you'll hear 2 different extracts. In each extract, a health professional is talking to a patient. For questions 1 to 24, complete the notes with information you hear. Now, look at the notes for extract 1. Extract 1, questions 1 to 12. You hear a cardiologist talking to a patient referred for dizziness. For questions 1 to 12, complete the notes with a word or short phrase. You now have 30 seconds to look at the notes.
Hello, Mr. Thatch. It's nice to meet you. How are you today?
Okay, I guess. You can call me Jack, by the way.
Okay, thanks, Jack. So, you were referred by a doctor in the A&E for an episode of dizziness.
Yes, and I still feel a bit unwell, even though it has been about an hour since the dizziness began.
So, let's talk about your health recently. How have you been feeling lately?
I was feeling quite well until about 6 months ago. I have had a few falls, not often, but enough to worry me.
I see. When you have fallen, have you lost consciousness?
Yes, a couple of times, and as I live alone, I don't know how long I've been out when I come to. I've also grazed my knees a few times.
Okay, and have you also felt dizzy before?
Yes, sometimes I feel dizzy and have to sit down to avoid passing out. This has happened a few times after I was doing some work outside, but it happened last week when I was just sitting there.
How long does it generally take for the episode to pass?
I would say it takes about 10 to 15 minutes.
You said you lived alone. Has anybody been with you when you have had one of these episodes?
Most of the time, no, but my granddaughter was with me once. She got so worried that she called an ambulance. She said I looked so pale she thought I was dead. By the time they got me to the hospital, I had completely recovered. They told me I had a normal electrocardiogram and a normal chest x-ray, and they discharged me.
Okay. So I can see from the initial physical examination done in the A&E, you were pale when you presented in the A&E. No heart murmurs were detected. Let me look at the ECG that was just done.
Well, what are you thinking it might be?
Well, your loss of colour suggests a loss of cardiac output associated with arrhythmia, which is a problem with the rate of rhythm of your heartbeat. It means that your heart beats too quickly, too slowly, or with an irregular pattern. Yes. Your most recent ECG is showing a complete heart block. The episodes of loss of consciousness are what we call Stokes-Adams attacks and are caused by rapid heartbeat or tachyarrhythmia. You likely started out with a partial block, but now it seems that you are in a stable, complete heart block.
Does that mean the blood in my heart isn't flowing? How is that possible?
No. A heart block is an abnormal heart rhythm that occurs when the electrical impulses that tell your heart when to beat are delayed or blocked as they travel through the heart.
Oh, no. And what is the treatment for that?
The treatment is the insertion of a pacemaker, which will help monitor and control your heartbeat. With the pacemaker, if your heart rhythm is abnormal, the computer in the pacemaker will direct a generator to send electrical pulses to the heart.
So you have to insert it in my chest? Is that major surgery?
It does not require open heart surgery, so it is not as serious as you might think. In fact, most people go home within 24 hours.
Extract 2, questions 13 to 24. You hear a GP talking with a patient complaining of lack of energy. For questions 13 to 24, complete the notes with a word or short phrase. You now have 30 seconds to look at the notes.
Hello, Mrs. Holloway. It's nice to meet you here today.
Nice to see you too.
So I see here that you decided to make the appointment because of a lack of energy. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
Yes, it's awful. Over the past year and a half, I think, I've become increasingly tired. I work as a solicitor, and there have been a few times now where I have fallen asleep in my office. I have had to give up my weekly game of tennis because I'm just too tired. And it is absolutely impossible for me to stay awake past 9:30 at night or wake up before 7:30 a.m. It is also quite difficult for me to concentrate when I finally do get to the office.
So you had an episode of depression about 10 years ago related to the breakup of your marriage. Are you currently experiencing any personal problems?
No, not at all.
Any other physical symptoms, like being constipated?
Now that you mention it, I have been a bit constipated. Also, I have put on a bit of weight over the past year, about 6 kilograms, I think. One thing I wanted to ask about is the possibility of diabetes. My brother was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at the age of 13, and I know fatigue is a symptom of diabetes.
Let's take a look at your latest blood tests. So, your glucose levels are within a normal range, so it isn't diabetes. I see that your skin is a bit dry and it's also somewhat flaky. Is that normal for you?
No, not really. I've been trying to do something about it.
Okay, so fatigue is associated with quite a few possible diagnoses, but based on your lab results, which show anemia and hypercholesterolemia, which is an elevated amount of cholesterol in the blood, and a few other factors such as your general description of how you have been feeling, the appearance of your skin and your family history, my initial diagnosis is hypothyroidism.
Does it explain why I'm so tired even after sleeping the whole night?
Yes, it might. Part of the reason you may be feeling tired is sleep apnea, which is often associated with hypothyroidism, and may contribute to daytime sleepiness and fatigue. It can also explain the weight gain, since that is also a feature of the condition.
Is it common?
Well, it does typically present in the 5th or 6th decade, and it is 5 times more common in women than men.
And I meet both of those criteria.
Yes. Depending on the cause of your condition, it may also be related to your family medical history. Your brother has an autoimmune disease, diabetes, which makes you a more likely candidate for one as well. And a common cause of hypothyroidism is autoimmune thyroiditis.
Well, what can I do about it?
Well, first we will have to confirm the diagnosis with thyroid function tests. If hypothyroidism is confirmed, we will then need to determine the cause in order to decide on treatment.
That is the end of Part A. Now look at Part B.